want to make a big deal about abortion, and we want to talk about saving the lives of children and how many black children die and how many black children die and Margaret Sanger, I ain't seen none of you motherfuckers out here advocating for adoption.
Fake outrage and fake empathy. We know that a lot of stuff happens on social media and we are prisoners of the moment. And a lot of times I think that's kind of some of the worst things, because whenever the story changes, sometimes when we go to bed, I don't know what it is. There's not ever a collective conversation like, we over it? Yeah, we over it. It's just, I think niggas just go to bed collectively knowing, yeah, that's dead. We done talking about that. We're going to slide to something else tomorrow. Or we'll go back to business as usual tomorrow. And so it creates these moments where a lot of big things be happening and we don't really, I think, sit and deal with them in the ways that they should be. Prime example, and I think France is just like, has flexed on us. If any way, France has consistently flexed on the United States. It's the way that they turn up about the shit that they mad about. Like, they don't just be mad for a minute. France will burn some shit down. France is about to be in the streets protesting. They fighting the authorities. They are messing up monuments. They doing all types of things. And we saw that most recently, 2 examples, but these are not new for France. France is with the shits. But the most recently, they protested the raise or the increase of the age to get Social Security that they have there. I think it was like 64 and they raised it to like 67 or something like that. They was not having that shit. So they was in the streets turning up. And these is OGs. You know what I'm saying? Like, surely people in the just regular society of all backgrounds was probably fighting on their behalf too. But these are old people that's like, you got me fucked up. You think I'm finna work all this time and produce and, you know, contribute to society like this? You just gonna be out here? No.
It was niggas that was also like, we gonna be old one day too. Y'all got us fucked up.
You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to them for running amok and then doubled back, spent the block on their ass in the past month with the killing of an innocent teenager who I think was Muslim, but was a person of the color by the police. And as soon as they got news from that, from sea to shine and sea in Italy, they was on it. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, I'm sorry, in France, they was on it. You know what I'm saying? Turned up, not taking no for an answer, burning stuff down, like days and days and days of protest. And I'm not saying they go run them up every single time something pops off, but look at, okay, so maybe your particular cup of tea wasn't getting upset about the Supreme Court decision about services that can be rendered to LGBTQ people, right? Maybe that's not the issue for you, and that's not the thing that turned you up.
Should have been.
Maybe, exactly, right? Maybe affirmative action in education wasn't your thing because you really didn't, you know, have any stake in that. You didn't go to college or whatever. But right. I think the most unifying issue that enough people in this country should have been pissed off about is this whole, especially in these dire economic times we're in, what happened with student loans. You know what I'm saying? Everybody didn't go to college, but enough people on both sides of the aisle with a multiplicity of living experiences, political affiliations, social beliefs, ideologies. That's enough people who should have just been pissed off about that.
Unified on one thing. You fine. Like, but you know, niggas was like, well, I've paid off my student loans, so I don't think, get the fuck out of here.
Another example, mass shootings. We should be pissed. We should be turned up. The way that they allowing our kids to die in these schoolhouses.
In schools. These is mass shootings in schools.
Like, we should have been in the streets like, we up with it. Like, you want to see some gunpowder, we want to see some gunfire, we got some gunfire. But no.
And I think that's just what's crazy about it. Like, I feel like there's certain things in the society that we shouldn't, this is not debatable, right? It's just not debatable. And the fact that we have a phenomenon of our schools getting shot up is proof enough for, like, regardless of where we fall on the political spectrum, we should be thinking, okay, it's something that should be done, right? But a lot of the polarization that we see in politics stems from the way people respond to things on social media. We want our politicians to say the things that we like on social media. No longer to actually, like, I mean, we barely can't give a fuck about the legislation anyway. But now it's like we like the politicians that go viral. We like the politicians that say wild shit. I mean, and that's how, because what's the phrase that the phrase that we use now? Platforming. Right, some of the worst people, some of the most toxic people get platformed, and those are the people who display the fake outrage the most. Because where I see fake outrage being displayed, and it's just like you really gotta be fucking kidding me, is this whole thing about sexualizing kids. Right. Well, actually, in two places where it come to kids. Two places where it come to kids: sexualizing kids and being pro-life.
Yeah.
Those two things. First, the bullshit with the fake outrage with sexualizing kids is, I'm telling you, the Little Mermaid wore a smaller halter top than any other Disney princess in existence. Wow. Wasn't nobody tripping off that, right? Wasn't nobody tripping off of the two dogs kissing with the spaghetti. All of this shit is cute. When nobody tripping off, oh, that's your little boyfriend, oh, you got a little girlfriend. When nobody tripping off none of that, right?
Let that child Sleeping Beauty sleep and couldn't nobody wake her up until they kissed her?
Until they kissed her.
Come on now.
Right?
It wasn't enough. Hello, Sleeping Beauty. You can't just go to the doorway and call her name. No, you got to put your lips on her.
I'm telling you. So it's all this dialogue associated with what we want kids seeing when what we have on TV is already bad enough. The heterosexual relationships and interactions that we see is bad enough. And you talking about sexualizing kids? Stop. Hold on, but that's the sexualizing kids part. So we know that they lying about that because they saying they don't like queer shit. Just say you don't like queer shit. Period. Just say you don't want to teach your kids about gay shit. Just say that.
They don't want to get canceled. They don't see that. They try to take the easy way and be like, the kids just don't need to see that.
Try to take the high road. They trying to take the high road, but they can't because they already full of shit. Second aspect of it is when you want to make a big deal about abortion and when you want to talk about saving the lives of children and how many black children die and how many black children die and Margaret Sanger, I ain't seen none of you motherfuckers out here advocating for adoption.
Listen.
I ain't seen none of y'all people out here actually talking about, hey, well, we need to do something about how kids are treated in these group homes. I ain't seen nobody talk. And then let's combine the conversations. You talking about how children are overly sexualized. Ain't nobody talk. I don't see none of y'all talking about the rate at which group home children or children in the system are molested and touched on.
Come on.
But you talking about we worried about kids being sexualized and we worried about black kids dying, but the black kids that are alive, the black kids that are alive in fucked up circumstances that are in the system for whatever reason, what we know that they have to deal with, like the numbers and the statistics of children who are abused and molested going through the system are staggering. Through the roof. But you want to talk about, you want to talk about some woman that's having abortions because she just don't want to stop. Like, come, if you hate women, just say that.
I mean, and the other side of that is, of course, you can't. The same people who tend to be pro-life are the same people who are pro-gun, and so you can stay alive, little child, but only long enough for you to get shot up at your schoolhouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, if kids really are, if you're pro-life, why are you not advocating for the very things that are that are the number one killer of young people ages 0 to, I'm sorry, I think all adolescents of kids from 0 to 18. The largest, because we know it's kids being killed in their home by discovering guns that are improperly stored and locked up by their parents. We know that there's been a spike of young people, literally children, shooting their parents in the home because they finding the guns and actually shooting the adults. We know that kids are finding guns. I remember a little boy just took a gun to the schoolhouse and shot the teacher a year and a half ago.
Come on.
But none of that is about being, those lives don't matter. Let them die. Right? But you better not abort that baby.
You better not.
6 weeks in, I'm talking about. I think it was.
Ron DeSantis, you are 100% right. Ron DeSantis said that if he got elected president, he would advocate for a 6-week ban. And I think they have a 6 week. He trying to push for a 6-week ban in Florida.
Come on.
What are we doing? You don't even know you pregnant yet.
It's wild, yo. Like,
so
fake outrage, par excellence.
Right, and so that's one of the ones again that I feel like it's kind of in the line of virtue signaling. It's difficult with the fake outrage to find like the excuse because it's just like it don't add up. right? And then that outrage is used to demonize a particular group, and it's always an already marginalized and oppressed group. Where's the outrage that white men are the leading cause of domestic terrorism in the United States? Where is that outrage? Because I know what happened after 9/11. I'm like, if you was brown, you came from one of them brown Muslim countries, hey, you was on some type of terror watch list. But the FBI is telling us that white men are the biggest threat to domestic safety, and here we are. There's no outrage about that. So, again, we want to hear from y'all. I appreciate it, J Universe. Dina said other countries don't give a fuck. They tear stuff down when they mad. America sucks it up. America sucks. They just move on to the next topic. On to the next one. We ain't mad about that no more. Okay, cool.
Listen, and
okay, cool. I'm still mad about Tamir Rice. I'm still mad about Trayvon Martin. I'm still mad about Eric Gardner. I'm still mad about Breonna Taylor. I'm still like that shit don't go away, right? Yeah. This shit we think about as we move through society. What you about to say? Don't tell you my fault.
I mean, not just that. It sucks that likes and shares and comments generate the way that things get boosted too. You know what I'm saying? And even on the news, what people care about and whatever math they do to determine whatever is the most important at the top of the news feed is where it takes everybody's attention. And so a lot of stuff that should be rising to the top doesn't. And that's because people outside of us, the actual people who are affected by it, are determining what we see and when enough is enough. And I think that's it's a terrible model.